Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So, I just going to say, welcome to Emacs Podcast and Coffee. It's Friday, August 27th. Shout out to my mother-in-law for her 80th birthday today. Wahoo! So we're in Bellworks today, which I mentioned the last time we were here. I love this studio. It's very fun. It's an awesome building. We decided at the last minute last night. When I say last minute, I was like 8:20 on the phone like a lunatic trying to change it because, again, the elevators are not working in the other building. And that 5 flights of stairs is a haul and exhausting first thing in the morning. So, especially when it's so hot and humid. So I called a shared universe, asked if we could switch to this studio. Chris, who's on the boards with us today, said, sure, why not? So Chris came over. So we get here, we're all set, we meet in the lobby, everybody's good, we come on in, and I move a wire, and the camera goes down 3 seconds before we're supposed to go live. So it's not 9 o'clock, it's 9:11, or 9:12 now. I've been yapping for a whole minute about that for no reason. But anyway, I would like to welcome my co-host today, Kevin Muldowney from David M. Muldowney Senior. Junior. Oh, dang. Junior CPA.
Yes.
Because there's a lot, and I've never met David M. Muldowney Jr.
Yeah, I'm sure you have. He's been at events.
It's your dad?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I thought the company was your grandfather's company.
No.
Oh, yeah, then I've met David. He's cool. He's so awesome. So anyway, so Kevin is partner and our treasurer for the chamber and on the board of directors and happy to fill in today as a co-host. You've done a podcast before?
I have done a podcast. I don't believe I ever co-hosted one.
You have not.
So this is fun. I'm glad we came to this alternate studio.
Yeah.
Because Bellworks, as Jen said, is an amazing place. Great energy over here. So
Yeah.
looking forward to it.
Yeah, and we have our guest Andrea Lane from Coast to Coast Turnkey with us today. So who's also obviously a member of our chamber, because that's who we have with us. Yes. Anyway, so did my other previous co-hosts cue you in on what to do with me?
Nothing.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry.
Flying blind.
They left you
Flying
without
blind.
any keys. So, my usual crazy self. I'm not allowed to do puns, and I'm not allowed to sing. Tim has banned me from doing those two things on the podcast. I don't know why. I'm very punny. And I have a lovely voice. Right. But anyway, I don't know why Tim has banned me from these, but when he's not here, sometimes I sneak it in.
I'll fill in with some puns if you need it.
Oh, great. I love puns. I think puns are the most interesting. You can laugh out loud, Andrea. It's okay, because...
I forget the punchlines, so puns are not good for me.
Well, puns aren't puns... No, jokes are the ones with the punchlines. Aren't puns the ones that are just twists on words, kind of?
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, so they're just punnier. So anyway... we got a lot going on with the chamber.
We do.
Because we've taken August kind of chilled. We've done a lot of planning. We've done some regrouping. I actually took a whole week's vacation. Ask me what happened to me during my week for vacation, Kevin.
Jen, what happened to you during your week's vacation?
So it wasn't really happening to me, but my family had a very big week because our daughter Jessica got engaged on Friday the 13th. Wow. To her boyfriend or fiance, Anthony Farina, and Anthony worked for us 1 year while he was in between during COVID, helping us with some technical stuff. So we're very excited about that. And then the following Friday, our baby Jamie went away to college.
Wow.
So it was a big week at the Eckhopff household. Yes, it was. And then again, this Friday, my mother-in-law turns 80. So it's kind of been a big thing. I didn't take the week off for her birthday, though. Only for the engagement and the college thing, and then I had to go back to work. Somebody needed me,
Gotcha.
do a little bit of work. So anyway, we've been doing planning. We've been doing good things, and we are about to kick off September with our events again. September 15th is our business networking breakfast. We are having a really unique event. Unique, I think, for us. We haven't done this yet. So we've often had a speaker from Tony Robbins come. They're not presenting in person. So Dragan, and I was going to try to say his last name, but I decided I don't want to do that today. But Dragan, who has been with us before, is going to be on a big screen, interactively working with those of us that are in the audience, as well as anyone who would like to attend virtually. So we're trying to make it accommodating for everyone. If you will be with us personal, that will be a lot of personal networking we'll be doing. That's at the Sheraton Eatontown, 7:45. And then Dragan will speak and do his presentation, and then there'll be Q&A, and it'll be interactive, so you can join us online for that. So we have that going on. And then we also have on 9/16, we're bringing back Conversation and Coffee, which if you have not tried a Conversation and Coffee, it is a networking online 1 hour. And it is usually somebody will bring up a topic or we'll have a topic planned about business or what's going on in the business world. And it becomes very interactive. So it's not just I'm so-and-so from such and such. You do introduce yourself, but then you actually work on something together. Share ideas, share thoughts. It's an hour, it's on Zoom, and it's quite intimate because you don't think of Zoom as being intimate because you're not there with people. But when you're looking at little squares of people and they're really talking, it's kind of really connective. It's awesome, and we like it a lot. So that's coming back 8:30 to 9:30 on the 16th of September. And then on the 29th of September, we are back to our business after hours, which is networking with a shot of fun. At 4 o'clock, we'll be doing mini golf. Get it? A shot. Ha ha. So at 4 o'clock, we'll be doing mini golf at Bluegrass Mini Golf over in Oceanport, I believe, which is
Yes.
right by Fort Monmouth.
Yep.
And then at 5 o'clock, we'll be going over to Blue Grotto for drinks at 5. Tom Duffy is our drink sponsor, so first drinks are on him. So you'll have time to play golf with us from 4 to 5. Go head on over to Blue Grotto, drink, enjoy yourselves, and have fun. And that's our after hours for September. And you ready for this?
I am.
Okay, we're having a flash sale. So if you register between now and 5 p.m. on Tuesday the 31st for any of those 3 events, you get $5 off.
So go out and register now is what you're saying.
I'm saying if you want to take advantage of a $5 sale on each, so that's $15 if you come to everything.
Right.
You go, you register, you can use a little coupon code that's on, it's Flash space 0821. Put it in when you register, save $5 on each event. But goes away at 5 o'clock on the 31st.
Act now.
Act now.
Act now.
Give me a drum roll for that, because that's fun, right? Okay. All right. Cool. Because I've not done that before, and I was like, flash sale. Oh, that sounds like fun. Let's do that. So, and then we are packing it in for October. Packing it in. We have 4 events for October.
All right.
And guess what?
What?
They're all free. For free. Yeah. Our business.
Wow.
Yeah. Right. Right.
That's great.
They're all for free. So our business networking breakfast will be at the Middletown Arts Center.
Okay.
Okay. Our conversation and coffee will be virtual again. Our ENG group is having an event hanging by the sandbox. If you know the sandbox in Highlands, it's by the
Highlands,
sea
right.
streak. We're going to be out by the sand, the water. We're hoping for like the October Indian summer kind of thing, because that's on the 21st of October. And then on the 26th of our BAH of October. And we have not confirmed the location. We have something really great planned, but we haven't done it yet, so I can't say it on air yet. But yeah, so all of those events are free. And there's more information to come about that month later.
Very exciting.
Isn't it? And wait, one more thing. This is a question to the audience. Would any of you like to spend a day, 5 days a week, 4 days a week, working in an environment where this
Who wouldn't?
is your daily entertainment? We actually, Jill, who we've spoken about before many times, our assistant, has now been promoted to our marketing and customer relations manager. So we are looking for someone who wants to work with us in our fun office. Lots of flexibility to help us out with the administration assistant of both Jill and myself. So it is an opportunity that should not be missed because we are a riot. Jill was trying to come up, she's very creative. She's coming up the other day and she's like, it is cold in our office, I will tell you. I get very hot, so I make it as cold as possible. Jill freezes, so she's in a winter coat. So she was going to write the lead in as interested in being a polar bear and living in an igloo? Apply for the job at EMAC. The other one is, do you want to laugh every day without working at the Comedy Factory? That would be working in our office too. So it is a lot of fun, a lot of flexibility, and it's part-time. So if you are interested, the biggest requirement is a positive attitude and people skills. We can teach you everything else you need to know.
Sign me up.
Right?
Sign me up.
You can't. I'm sorry. You have to do our taxes. You can't come. You have to help me with the accounting.
Man.
You know that's not my strong point. So, like, you have to help me out with that. You
right.
can't have this job. But thank you, though. You would like it, though. It is a lot of fun.
If I was available,
I was going to say, you're a little busy, Andrea. I know. But we are a lot of fun. So, we are looking for someone to help us out. So, you got anything to add? You're
Not really.
so quiet.
I know. I am.
You're not always as quiet. 'Cause you're
I
actually
was wondering
really funny.
if you get a pass on the no pun allowance for the titles of events.
Oh, yes, for the titles of
Tim
events.
allows that?
Tim doesn't have a choice.
Okay.
Yeah, that may change when he becomes chair next year, and he may
Right.
cut that out. But then he's going to have to name all the events and make people want to
will.
come.
Right. And I don't think he wants to do
Yeah,
that.
no, 'cause it's really
Punny.
it's punny. It's pun. It takes us a lot of time, and it just. Andrea's not going to be able to talk because.
I know.
Yeah. No, so he does.
Bring her around all the time. We get
Right?
You
It's
know,
like-
everything is funny.
Yeah.
great.
It's good.
Great
Everything's
audience.
fun. Yeah. Jill says I could take my act on the road. My family, who says I was never funny, and anyone who knew me in the past, are like, "What are they talking about?" But I've gotten a lot funnier in my old age. It's another good thing. We talked about turning 50.
Oh, you
Like-
don't care anymore.
I don't.
I know, it's
I don't know
great.
if men are like this, but man, every woman I know, once you turn 50, it is like the best time of your life. You just don't care anymore. And as long as you were a really decent, good person, well, I guess if you weren't either, you were okay with not caring anymore either. But, I figure I'm a good, kind person. So, I am who I am. And that's,
Right.
you get what you get. And what
You
we
don't
used to
get
say,
upset.
I was going to say, what we used to say to kids, you get what you get. You don't
Don't
get
get
upset.
upset.
You can't pick out which color M&M you want. So anyway, Andrea,
Hey.
hey, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
We're happy to
Glad you
have
could make
you.
it.
Yeah, and thanks for the flexibility of
Yes.
just, But say
Everything happens.
you were really thankful I didn't make you climb 5 flights of stairs this morning, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I am. It's way too hot to be in non-air conditioning stairwells. So
Yeah. I couldn't believe when I got out of the car this morning how hot it was. I'm walking here, and I'm walking across the parking lot. I'm like, give me inside. Give me inside. I can't do it.
I spend a lot of time in Houston, so this is pretty common.
I guess.
Okay.
I guess, yeah. Good morning. I'm David Hicks and Jessica Evans. What day is the business breakfast in October? Oh, thanks. October 13th. Thank you. Same time. I believe we're going to be doing the same time, 7:45 to 10. But that will be posted once we get a little bit more details. That those events are not up yet with details, but they will be soon. But
And
they are free.
Is the October breakfast is at the Sheridan as well?
No, it's at the Middletown Arts
You
Center.
did say that. That's right.
Did say that.
You did say that.
Yeah, so thank you to our fine friends at Middletown who we, made a call and said, "Hey, how much does it cost?" And they said, "For you, it's free." Did you ever see that movie? Oh shoot, Kevin Moot, if you're listening, what the heck is the name of that movie? It's an Adam Sandler movie. And he does this, the dreams come true. These kids do the dreams and the dreams come true. And he's always like, "For free, for me." So that's kind of
Is it Click?
No, it's not
No,
Click.
it's not Click.
It's so funny. And he said to me the other day in a meeting, he goes, "How many times have you said 'for free' talking about the October stuff?" I'm like, "Not enough." So I'm catching up today.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bedtime stories?
Could be.
I think that's it. It's
Could
bedtime
be.
stories. Awesome movie. If you haven't seen it, rent it one night in your mini hotel rooms. It's very entertaining.
When I'm at a hotel, I don't spend much time in my room. So
I know. And sometimes, isn't that you're paying for a room in a hotel and you don't get to spend time in there?
it's worse when you have to pay the resort fee and you don't get to use any
Oh, you're not kidding.
amenities. Yeah.
So you need
That
to start
really
staying at
kills
the
ya.
Super 8 or the Motel 6 because then you're not paying that much for a room
Right.
you're not using. So speaking of that, we've mentioned you travel. It's not just for the hotel room. So what
Yeah,
do you
really.
do, Andrea?
So my company, Coast to Coast Turnkey, is a done-for-you rental company.
Done for you.
for you.
Yeah. So it's for people who want to build a passive income portfolio to have more money to retire with, as opposed to a get-rich-quick scheme. Not that you can't get rich on passive income, but for most people that we work with, they just want to build a portfolio, and we do it a number of ways. We either do turnkey rentals. Let's talk about that in a minute if you want.
I would love to.
We also have a fund, so if you invest in the fund, you just get money and your money works for you. We also always have opportunities for lenders who want to just invest and get 10 to 12% return on their money. So we have different opportunities for
Can I
people.
invest $1?
You need a little more. Not
little
a lot
more?
more, but you need
A little more than $1?
A little more.
Okay.
But I also teach people how they have money they didn't know they had to invest. So, so my part of the business is not turnkey. It's really going out and networking. So the reason I'm in hotels all the time is I travel around the United States to different events. or I create my own network events in different cities depending upon what we need, and meet people who are interested in real estate or who I just got back from a lending event in Vegas. I'm going to a real estate event in Oklahoma next month, and so I just travel
Oklahoma,
around
sorry.
to different.
No singing.
He's not here.
By the way,
taking advantage.
It's actually in Ohio, and I've been saying Oklahoma for the
Oh,
last
no.
2 months. I don't even know where I go.
I don't have any Ohio songs.
I just, so it's just getting around the country and talking to people and building our network. And so what I do is I usually do the connection, not only for our company, because I find lenders, I find buyers, I find people who are interested in the fund. But the other thing that I do is I network with real estate investors who want to learn or have questions. And I run a network group every Thursday night on Zoom where I talk about different topics. I have a person come in every month, and every other week actually, and talk about various topics that are important to real estate investors. And then every other week we do similar to your coffee and conversation. We have a network event where you can meet everyone on the call. Hopefully you're getting their information and have private conversations. And then we also have topics or questions that come up, and that's what we discuss. They're real estate related, not just general business, but that's what we do.
Don't you find?
from a
Do you
network.
find them fascinating because every different person has a different view, and
I-
little thing.
I have a very large network, and so normally on our network calls, we get anywhere from 20 to 100 people, depending upon the topic and the day of the month,
Right.
quite frankly. And you never know who's going to be on. And it's interesting from a real estate perspective when you're hearing, like, I live in New Jersey, work in Pittsburgh, and I own properties in 4 other states. But you hear perspectives from all over the country. And what's really common, because real estate is very localized. So a lot of it is the same, but if you want to get into the nitty gritty and start buying, you better really understand your local market because it's localized. So it's just interesting knowing what's going on around the country.
I find that, again, you take it to any level. I find it's very interesting. We get so used to living in our area. And we live in a very interesting area where we are. We're very close to New York City. We're close to Philadelphia. We're close to New York City. We're close to, not New York, D.C., Boston. We live in a very interesting area. And yet there's a whole nother country out there 2 or 3 times the size of our area that I'm talking about, and things are very different.
Very different. From when I first went out, I went out to Indiana to look at property and to build a network out there. And the first thing that I found was you and your husband, if you both work at McDonald's and you make a salary and you work full time, you can buy a house and you can go on vacation and you can afford your taxes. Well, think about that and put it in New Jersey perspective. It just changes the way you think. So our business is actually located in Pittsburgh, and we're looking to grow on the outer side of the Houston market, because those are areas where people can live at a reasonable price, pay reasonable taxes, and still enjoy life. So to feel like I'm really privileged to live in New Jersey because we have all the benefits, but I didn't even know there was a life outside. I'm from Brooklyn, moved to Jersey, right?
Right,
So
yeah,
that's
exactly.
all I know.
Right.
I never knew there was a life that you could live on a lower salary.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons we started traveling out of state, to find different areas to work in.
It's funny that you mentioned that. I just came back from, my cousins live in Indiana. They're like right on the border of Indiana and Kentucky, right there on the Ohio River. And my cousin has a boat, keeps it on the Ohio River. So we went out for a boat ride, and you saw probably like miles and miles of real estate on the river that is undeveloped. So my aunt was out there with us, and she mentioned that, if that was around here, that was anywhere in Ocean or Monmouth County, the Navesink, Shrewsbury, Barnegat Bay, whatever, there's no possible way that would be undeveloped.
Right.
Correct.
They'd be houses or developments or, mansions or whatever on that land, because it's right on the river, it's waterfront, it's
Yeah, it's
prime
so
real
true.
estate. But down there, it's undeveloped, which is
Amazing.
remarkable.
Boating life too is something. It's very, we're all beach life usually around here, most people. Boating life on a river is so different and yet so awesome. Like, down with those big wide rivers with the open, and then people go out all day and they float around in the river and they raft, and did you guys do any of that? Like, I mean, it's
he has a pontoon boat, so it's open
right?
and
It's just
fits more people. So my kids were tubing off the back, and
it's just
his
so
brothers were water skiing.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun, but it was very interesting to see
slower,
the landscape
calmer,
and
everything.
Yeah, getting out of the state makes life very different, and that's one of the benefits that when I talk to people that are from the East Coast or the West Coast, they just don't know what's available in the middle.
Right.
And the middle is where most of America lives. That's the first thing, right? Most Americans don't live in New York, even though we think everybody lives there, and they don't live like we live, right? They live in houses, they live in areas that you can afford to live in, and they live in areas that the government isn't controlling their life, that they actually have a decision. I'm not being political, it's
Right.
just
Right.
the way
I'm
they
rolling
live.
my eyes at the sound. If anybody on can hear, there's something going on in the building. It's still better than walking up 5 flights of stairs, but if you just hear the buzz, it's something going on somewhere. I'm sorry. Just
No, that's
Right.
okay.
distracted me. So you travel to all around looking for all these people, and
So-
then what do they do after that, or what
So just like any network, I'm a real big believer in networking, right? Networking only works if you keep in touch with people.
Right.
So many times people go to these events and they collect cards, and I'm not quite sure that drawer they keep them in is really helping them very much. So I contact every person that I meet via email because that makes it easy enough for me, and I give them a calendar invite if they want to talk to me personally. To see how we might be able to work together. If we can't work together, how can I put them on my list to make sure that if they have a need, I may be able to fulfill it, right? So when I travel, that's what I do. I don't only meet people, I follow up with people, and some people that I've met, become really my friends because we've just started a relationship and built it, and that's what I do in terms of networking.
Nice.
Keeping it going.
So you like to network, and you're a member of the chamber. So why did you choose EMAC? And I know we're not the only chamber of choice in your life here in this area, because
so
I
just-
know you come from like a really deep-seated heart place in another chamber.
I actually am in 15 chambers in 4 states.
Wow.
But I'm also in multiple real estate networks around the country, right? So if you want to meet people, and what I don't do well, which is a really easy way for people who want to network. I'm talking more about networking than my
Sure.
business.
Right.
But if you really want to network and do it well, Facebook is phenomenal to be able to go out, meet people in your industry or industries you're interested in, and start conversations and build relationships off of a social media. I don't use it to the best of its ability. I don't have time to live socially and live in person. I choose in person. But if you're in an area that's more isolated, social media is still an available medium for you to use to be able to network.
Cool.
So.
And then, so what do you? I'm going to get you
and
to
so
talk about
why-
how amazing EMAC is.
Okay,
Would you
so
do
let
that
me
for
tell you
me?
about EMAC, right?
Come on,
And
I tried to
it's-
lead you into that one twice now.
And I don't do a good job of it. I'm sorry. I just believe in networking in general. And
know.
EMAC is it really is a phenomenal chamber to belong to because you have so many people that are consistently active, of which I'm not one. I come when I'm home.
Well, you're
But
not always here.
That's
so.
right. I come when I'm home to every event possible because meeting people in your area is really the way to grow, and you allow the opportunity for businesses to interact and meet each other. So just your coffee connector is phenomenal, right? Because that allows you, if you don't want to leave your home, if you're sick, or you can still have the opportunity of getting in and meeting people in your area and interacting with other businesses. And that's really key to helping your business grow. So I think it's really cheap to join. I think it's a wonderful place to be. So I don't know why, if you're in the area in New Jersey, because I go around the country, I don't care that you're Jersey versus New York versus, but if you're here, you definitely should be joining the chamber. There's no sense not to. It's a great place to interact with other business people and find people that you will either be able to work with, work for, or just refer them to somebody else and build a relationship.
Because the network is really, it is about the people that you can connect to yourself, to others, to the world.
Yep.
It's all about, if you look at when you Google network now or networking now, it all comes up wires. It has nothing to do with people.
Right.
But what we're talking is people networking. Yeah. But it's the same thing. They all lead down different paths to different ways. So.
Absolutely. It's the best.
So.
If you're in this area, especially if you're listening to this podcast, just
we're lucky.
join.
Actually, do you know we're international?
Well, okay, so
let me just tell you why.
Okay.
You have a long lost
We have
relative.
No.
who's
It's
stationed
Tim's
in
cousin.
Germany.
Tim's cousin's in Canada. Okay, so we're international. My cousin in Tennessee often listens. So we're all over the country with our podcast and
Great.
coffee because we're just that good.
Right.
Yeah. And now, Andrea, you can just have all these networking people say you should really listen to this podcast and coffee, just for total entertainment purposes. Sorry.
No problem.
yeah, this will be posted on my Facebook.
Okay. Yes. Oh, yeah. You can. You'll get the sound. You'll get all that. It's on ours. You can always link to ours.
Yep.
EMAC and J. You can watch it anytime you want. So give me what's a favorite? Now we know. Okay. Aside from networking,
What do
because
I
we
really
talked about
do
that.
for a living?
Well, that or what's your favorite part of your
Right.
job? And more
Okay.
things about Coast to Coast that are amazing that we need to know.
All right, so let me tell you what a turnkey company does,
that's a
because
good one,
that's probably something people don't
place to
know,
start, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what most turnkey companies do is they do provide a great resource for passive investors. And normally what they do is they go out, they find distressed houses, they do the rehab, they finish it, they make it look beautiful, they sell it to you for a profit, and then they manage the properties once it's done. And so if you want to buy a property and have it taken care of and know that you're moving into something brand new, it's a great opportunity. That is not what we do.
Okay.
So we do things a little differently. We require people to buy portfolios. So they have to buy 5 at a time. Now remember, we're not talking New Jersey prices. So I'm saying that because when you think New Jersey, you're like, I need $1 million. No, you don't. I'm not going to go into the money, but it's not $1 million. Not even close. So we go out and we will find property that will fit your need in terms of what you want, or we'll come as close as we can. I used to be able to say, we'll find the single families for you, we can get the cash on return, and that used to be true. Now it's not as good as it was, and that's simply because the inventory isn't there. Now we buy portfolios, so we'll buy 50, 100, 200 units at a time. But still, the inventory isn't there for us as well. So you tell us what you want. We'll find the property. We'll make sure it's rent ready for the area. So that's very different from what most people watch these fix and flip shows, and it all looks beautiful. Well, first of all, if you think that's true, give me a call. I promise you it's not.
Yeah. I've had friends on a reality TV. It's not so real.
It's not real at all.
Yeah.
But we find the houses, make sure they're rent ready for the area. So they're going to be in good shape, but they're not necessarily going to be a Rumson house, right? They're going to be good for the area that we're in. And we make sure they have tenants in them. If we don't purchase them with tenants, we do the testing for the tenants to make sure that they're going to be there for a while, that they're a good tenant, as well as we can. Testing is the wrong word, but I know my vocabulary.
Yeah, no. We
evaluate
yes,
your tenants.
yeah.
Yes. So, and then we make sure the rent comes in. You get paid. We monitor the property. So we're a full service, which a property management company should be, right? So they should be handling your finances well, giving you good reporting, making sure that your houses are maintained, making sure they're going out there a couple of times a year to check, even if there are tenants that are going to be there for years, make sure the property's in the shape it should be. And things happen to properties where tenants sometimes don't tell you there's a problem, so you have to make sure that's taken care of. But things happen to the property. You may have a piece of cement on your sidewalk that broke. That's a good place for somebody to trip and sue you. So by going there, you're going to see that and be able to do your asset management as well as your property management.
So you have people who do
So
that
we
for
have-
you, so that if you
we
own
have-
property in East Tennessee, you don't have to go from New Jersey down there every quarter to
Correct.
look if you don't.
Correct. We have 3 contracting firms on staff. They're 1099 staff. They don't work for us, right? They can get other jobs, but we keep them busy 100% of the time.
That's great.
Yeah, and so we own the property management company. We tried using an outside property management company, and they weren't doing what we thought was right for our clients. So we now own the property management company. We own our brokerage firm. We never buy and sell from our we never buy from our brokerage firm. He really does the negotiations with the companies we're using to buy from. So we do whatever it takes to make sure our clients are taken care of the right way. And there are times when we're lucky enough to be able to keep a property. People always say, oh, you do turnkey, so you keep the best for yourself. Well, in fact, that never happens, right? If you're a true turnkey company and you want to service your clients gets the best and you get what's left over.
Right.
But we do get to keep some of the properties as our own rentals. So we do have a rental portfolio of our own that we also manage. So we want to make sure that we're doing our stuff right as well.
Now this is permanent home rental, not
We
like
don't do
VRBO,
Airbnb.
Airbnb, none of that
No,
stuff.
that's
so.
not what we do.
Okay.
I mean, not that that's not a great market to be in, but it's not what we do.
I would think that a company like this, if you were big enough, could actually do that partially as well, but it would be a totally different type of business.
That would be a property management company who maintains houses that are specific
Okay.
to temporary rentals. And that really is, although the overall concept is the same, that's really heavy duty, having a good housekeeping staff,
Right.
having somebody who's going to monitor the maintenance weekly, not monthly or quarterly, right? Because that's a constant
We're talking a
change.
much larger. If you were to do both, we're talking a much larger company.
It's another it would be a total other
Another
arm,
aspect
and
of
that's
the
not
arm,
something that I don't know that we'll ever get into that. That's not that it's not a really profitable company,
Right.
but that's not the kind of business that we want to grow.
You want to help people grow. You
Yeah.
want to help individuals grow. I know that about you. So like if you want steady income, passive income, as you mentioned, for your clients.
Yep, and we do everything we can to service them because you're right. That is my heart, taking care of other people. You know, I joke all the time with my RIA group that I want all of you to be richer than I ever can be. I'm very happy. You know, real estate it's a people business. It's not a house business. It's about building relationships with realtors, with contractors, with lenders, with interior designers. I mean, everything is about the people, and the building is just the vehicle you're using to get the money in and out.
Yeah. The home is where your heart is.
So-
So you build, you have a home and find the right heart for it, and then you've got a lot of happy hearts.
Yeah.
Boy, that was really cliche.
I know.
Sorry.
If you think about, any holdbacks that I've heard of people that want to get invested in real estate is number one, the upfront cost. Number two, the risk of vacancies. Number three, they're not handy. So anything that comes up, it's
Okay,
the
so
tenants'
let me take
toilets
it.
and
Number
something
one
else.
is the upfront costs.
Right.
So yes, you're going to pay if you're in the real estate business. Although there are ways to get into the real estate investing side of the business with very little money, and if you want to talk about that, that's my networking side, not my coast-to-coast turnkey. So you're going to have a base of money. But I can help you with making sure that you have the credit that you need, how to build your credit correctly, not how to get the credit,
Sure.
but how to build your credit reports so they look good. You need to have money in the bank. So, I know this sounds really stupid, and I used to think people were crazy until I realized what you pay in Starbucks. If you go to Starbucks 7 days a week and you spend $10 a day, guys, at the end of 2 years, you have enough money to buy a small house. So, all right, so coffee is stupid, but really think about it. And of course, there's much bigger items you can save on.
You're true.
But if you go to McDonald's for $1 coffee, don't stop. It's, you're $52, $300 a year isn't going to help. But if you're in Starbucks, you're talking about almost $4,000 a year in coffee,
some
guys.
people drink more than one cup of coffee a day.
So
I'm totally fessing up here. I could be buying a house. Can I just tell you, see
Yeah,
this little
sure.
little thing here? This is Greg Morlock. Just wanted to say good morning to my wonderful and talented and beautiful cousin Jennifer. That's our Tennessee
Tennessee.
cousin.
Okay, good.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you for making us national.
yeah, really, that's great.
And also, you mentioned a couple of things before. A lot of people think that investing in real estate is purchasing, flipping, and selling, or purchasing and holding.
Oh.
And there's so much more.
Real estate has so many opportunities for
Right.
people. First of all, I don't think our education system does a good job of teaching you how you can take advantage of so many things. Even today, you probably have money that you can use to build real estate. You can build it, and you can do things like you can definitely buy and rehab. You can wholesale, which is a whole other area, right? You can do tax liens. You can find people who foreclosed houses and help them get their money back, because there's a lot of money in foreclosures that people have available to them that they don't even know they have available to them. There's just, turnkey businesses. You could be a property manager. There's so many opportunities in real estate, and people look and say, the fix and flip shows on TV, that's what we're going to use, right? We're going to use them. That's not necessarily the best use, or maybe something I personally hate rehabs. I don't like dealing with a million contractors. I don't like watching a house come to beautiful, it just doesn't interest me, and never. Quite frankly, a house has never interested me, so I'm really in a strange business. But
Well, because the home interests you.
the people interest me,
Yeah.
and that's what the house is all about, the people.
Yeah. I do know quite a few real estate agents, and it's the successful ones are the ones with the heart that really care about finding the homes for the right home for the right person, and it is about the people.
Yeah.
They are very people. So
Yeah. So you did ask me about two other things. I don't want to forget
Yes.
them. One is about vacancies, and by interviewing the tenants well up
Right.
front, that's not going to prevent things from happening, and it doesn't mean that some really crappy person's going to get into the deal, but it's going to limit the people. Now, you're always going to have, the more property you have, the more vacancies you have, right? It's going to be turnover. We hope to keep people 2 to 3 to 4 years, right? But you're not going to keep them in general, not that they don't, for 20 or 30 years. That's not usually what happens with rentals, right? So we look to make sure that we minimize the amount of move in, move out, because that's expensive for many reasons. And then you had a third question about
Maintenance.
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 Okay, so maintenance is if you're a small investor and you own 1 or 2 properties and they're near your house, most people choose to manage them themselves. I personally did that. I can tell you the good and the bad, the ugly. I don't anymore. Even in New Jersey, where I only own 4 units, we don't manage the property. Nobody knows who the owner is, which is really a good thing. If you have those 20-year tenants because you've been really good at cultivating it, then please keep doing what you're doing. But I'm not a big proponent of managing your own property. You want to find a good property management company and keep on top of them, but that should be what you're keeping on top of,
Right,
not the
okay.
maintenance.
Yeah.
And the other thing with maintenance is if you keep on top of your capital expense maintenances, so you make sure that your roof is in good shape and your HVAC system's in good shape, and your electric is in good shape, right? If you have a house and you've owned it for 30 years and you haven't done anything with your electric panel is probably ready to be changed, and you're not changing it. So if you keep on top of those things, it minimizes the maintenance you're going to have to do.
Excellent.
it minimizes the bathroom pipe leaking all of a
Right.
sudden through the.
So there's
Sometimes, but
yeah,
yes.
not often. I will tell you that the worst part of maintenance is plumbing, and there's a great product that you can put underneath sinks that, because the internet is fabulous, right? So it notifies you if there's even a drip. Because what happens is
You can get that notification.
yeah, but
Well,
it's
that's cool.
But the thing is that tenants, and I'm not faulting them for this, right? They see a drip and they're like, okay, they wipe it up.
Right.
And then they get another drip tomorrow and they wipe it up. Well, when you get the first drip, if they called and said, my sink is starting to leak, then you as a proactive landlord are going to say, okay, I'll get a plumber there as soon as possible. Because plumbers are also notoriously busy right now. You
Yes.
can't find a
Right.
good plumber to come
Right.
quickly. And I don't care that they do a lot of work for you. It's just a matter of what's available. So if they notified you, you could do that. But usually what happens is there's a drip, and there's a little bit more.
drip, 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 drip.
And then the bottom of your sink is rotted out because it's dripped for so long, and they may or may not call you. But at that point, you really have a problem. It could even grow to a mold problem. Right. So if you, first of all, by having a property manager who goes in and does the inspection at least once a year, you're going to know it before it happens. And you're probably not going to do that if you're on property management.
Right.
Yeah. Because you're managing where you're living, plus your investment properties, and you don't have time to do all that necessarily.
It's not even time. You don't think about it because
Right.
you're not thinking like a property manager is thinking. You're thinking like an owner, and you're thinking they're going to tell you there's a leak. And you go in and you look at the bathroom, and it looks fine, but you didn't open the cabinet to see what it looks like inside.
I don't open my cabinet at home.
Well, at some point, you probably
I do. I'm just kidding.
But that's just the way it works.
Yeah.
And so
Right.
that's why I'm really a big believer in a good property management company. That being said, good is really the key word. You're going to have to test them. You're going to have to ask a lot of questions to see if they're going to do what you expect them to do. I was just at a meeting the other night where a gentleman was talking about, the problems he had with multifamilies, and it was all around his property management companies, how many he's had to fire and hire. And every state we go into, we start with a minimum of 2 property management companies so we can sort of test the waters, because no matter what people say, they lie. And you go in with that understanding. And I'm not saying they lie intentionally or maliciously. They just make themselves look good.
They present themselves in the best light.
Yeah. So you want to evaluate the property management companies. So that's something that we learned by trial and error.
So do you guys have investors? I guess curious.
Yeah.
How many investors do you have that invest out of state?
Every one of our investors is out-of-state investors.
Okay. So just because I invest from here, my properties can be anywhere.
Oh, absolutely. So I have properties in 5 states. You can have properties any place you want. You just need to, first of all, if you're going to invest out of state, and I get this question a lot, what do I do and how did I decide? I find a location I want based on parameters I have, right? How many people are moving in? How many companies are moving in? What kind of companies are moving in? Pittsburgh sort of falls out of my normal range. Pittsburgh is not a place that people are flocking into, but the dynamics of the city has changed. It's a really big college community.
It's an awesome city. I was there a few years ago, and it's a cool city.
It's really beautiful, but the demographics have brought the average median age down to the mid to higher 30s. So it's not, 70-year people. So these are people who are young and vibrant and want to stay in the community that they're in, right? So that's one thing. And the other thing it always had going for it is it always had steady, slow appreciation. So when the market in New York spikes, so last year, 3 years ago, the market in New York was like at its peak, all as high as it could go, and then COVID hit. And of course, they can't do rents, they can't do evictions, they can't do. Well, not that the prices still aren't high, but they're significantly less than they were. Pittsburgh just keeps going on its slow, steady stream. And last year with COVID, instead of the 4 or 5% appreciation, it actually hit 12, and I was really upset. I'm happy with 4 or 5%.
It's just the nice steady,
It's just
right?
nice,
Because then
steady.
it's reliable.
But that isn't my normal view of a city. I looked at the city, and I used to work for bank, and I was in Pittsburgh a week a month, and I loved Pittsburgh. Didn't want to move there, but I love the city. And so it was intriguing to me, and I did research on it. And then the next thing I do is go find my team, right? So when I look for a team that actually has people that will work with us as partners with us, because we want to build a long-term relationship to build a rental portfolio. And in this case, we sort of fell into turnkey by accident. We didn't ever intend to open a turnkey business. We intended to be landlords and build our own landlord portfolio. And so many people from our group was saying, well, why are you there? And asking questions, and can you buy for us? And we tried it once. And then we said, okay, so every time we do a deal, we improve our process of doing it and make it better for our clients. And now we have clients that are multiple times back to us to buy more properties, but we didn't start out as a turnkey company. I probably should have said that up front.
yeah, yeah.
We started out to be landlords. And the reason Pittsburgh, I told you, and the reason Jacksonville's a really hot market. It's got two really large services. I forget if they're Air Force and they have two ports,
right,
and,
okay.
and it has more people moving in than moving out. It's in a great location. Not that it's hidden from hurricanes, but it's not like being on the coast where it's constantly
Right,
bombarded.
right.
So Jacksonville was a good location.
It snows sometimes in
And-
Jacksonville too.
Not very often.
Not often, but it does. I have friends that move there, and they're like,
Yeah,
"There's
so-
snow here." They're also sitting on the beach in February, but you know,
Yeah, exactly.
it's beautiful. But
And then-
but if you want an occasional winter, Jacksonville's not bad. A little
Nope.
mild.
Yeah. And then, so Houston, Texas, which is the other area, is unbelievable how it's growing. Now, the appreciation there is stupid, and I'm not really crazy about it. What I am crazy about, it's appreciating. Like if you bought a $200,000 house last year, every month it appreciated $3,000. It's just stupid crazy every month.
Wow.
It was just nuts. And it's still doing a good job of appreciating it. But the prices there are going up, the taxes there are going up. There's a lot of things that are not good about that, but it's got a great market. It's growing. People are moving in leaps and bounds. Got a lot of different employment opportunities there, and it's got a when I say a large footprint, it's not as big as Jacksonville, but it's probably one of the biggest cities in the country. And it's got a lot of suburbs that are really good to go out into. So
I
we
have a
look for
cousin that
that
lives
kind of
outside
stuff.
Houston too. I just thought I'd keep throwing this in. Like every
Yeah.
place you're mentioning, I know people that live. I'm just saying.
If you go around the country enough, you know everybody, right?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the people I know who used to live in Pittsburgh don't live in Pittsburgh anymore, but we did go when they lived there, you know. So.
Yeah. So anyway, did I answer all your questions?
You
I think I
did. You did. Yeah. I mean, real estate from an accounting and a tax standpoint is extremely fascinating just because of all the different aspects that can be involved. And,
Yeah, so that's...
the rentals, the flips, the deferred incomes.
So I bought my first rental
funds.
property in 1977, and I didn't buy it because I thought, well, there were two things I did think. I thought long-term, it's generational wealth. That I've always believed. I didn't think it was the best thing for me because, like I said, I don't like houses. But the other thing it does have is fabulous tax advantages. So I built my first portfolio based on tax advantages. So now there are even more than there were then. Now with the new administration, that could change,
Right.
but it still is. I don't think it's going to go away entirely because people need a place to live, and the government can't take away everything that's going to take away the ability for people to have a place to
Right.
live. So I'm not concerned overall about what they're going to do. I keep my eye on the market.
So, go ahead.
Now, all of the information that you talked about as far as finding properties and finding tenants and stuff, you do all of that for them.
Correct.
Like you can provide an analysis as far as
We do.
properties and areas and.
We do.
Okay.
And right now, we're
So I would
only
just
in the
give
Pittsburgh
you
and outside.
10 grand and you can go on your way. And,
Oh, 10 grand. That would be a loan. That wouldn't be a house. But
Okay.
yes.
Yeah.
but in some type of
but
portfolio
yes,
that
you
you
know,
have. Or,
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you came with the money, then we'll tell you what we have available and how long it would take us. So again, it used to take us no time. If you wanted property, we could find it and we could close on a deal, and it could be done in 3 months. Now I could tell you it could take up to 6, sometimes a little more. It's just finding the good properties is becoming harder and harder.
Okay.
But yeah, that's
All right. Do you have a
'cause you've
minimum to
bought
get
them
into
all already.
into the fund? Any of the funds that you have? Is there a
so.
minimum
If you
investment?
want to do a lending is $10,000.
Okay.
If you want to do on the fund minimum is it starts next month, so we haven't got all the numbers. If you want to do the fund, I'd say call me, but the numbers aren't that high. But they are. You have to be someone that I know, or you have to be an accredited investor. So
Okay.
that's two very different things.
Wow. So I was thinking when you were talking about, the investment money, and then Kevin said the 10,000, and I said $1, which I was just joking.
No,
by the
I
way,
know.
I'm kind of smarter than that. But like, I know people who have bought a young couple who bought a house that you couldn't touch here at their age, in outside of Charlotte, and $120,000, and it's like 3 to 5 bedrooms, and it's on this huge cul-de-sac, and it's gorgeous.
That was a couple of years ago, but yes.
Not that. So I might be off on the numbers or the size house, but a big, nice family house.
I agree.
On a big piece of property for well under 200,000. Really reasonable.
Again, middle America. Just move
and
out
that's-
of the country,
and-
out of the.
Yeah, just
Concentrated
move out
areas.
of this here. And so if you look at that, I'm just thinking that price point, right? And you said you don't need $1 million. 500,000 can get you pretty close to started.
500,000 can buy you 8 to 10 properties around Pittsburgh.
So, and that's kind of what I was
And
like.
that, by the way, includes your property management for the first year, your taxes for the first year, insurance for the first year,
So,
and the
yeah,
houses,
so
the down payment,
and
our fees.
500,000 here can buy you
Maybe a
Maybe
property
a
that 3-bedroom, 2-bath, maybe.
Yeah, I live in Rumson. Not getting you
No,
that.
no,
We are very lucky that we inherited our house from my in-laws because we wouldn't be living in Rumson. But yeah, like if you look at houses people are buying in Middletown, Middletown is beautiful and it's gives you more of that country feel and everything, but you still can't get a house for $200,000 or $300,000. And
Look at Long Branch, right? When I moved in 30 years ago, people were telling me I'm crazy. Now I need to find another house for us in Long Branch, and I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to spend money on a house. We're ultimately going to keep it and rent it out. Our company will own it, but it's crazy. The prices have just become nuts.
yeah.
And it doesn't mean that you shouldn't. So you can buy real estate out of state to earn the income that you want to buy your home in New Jersey if it's where you choose to live.
Right.
So from a tax standpoint, right, when you, and these are different taxes, but I've already clarified that this is not my area of expertise, okay? But when you live in New Jersey and work in New York, you pay taxes in New York and taxes in New Jersey. If you live in New Jersey and own property in another state, are you only paying property taxes on that state, or do you have to pay something to the state that you live in where
The
you're
property taxes are only in the state that you live in. The property taxes is just what it says. It's tax on that property that goes to the local municipalities, right?
Okay, right.
Just like here.
Okay.
That doesn't change. That doesn't go to New York or New Jersey. Now, your income is a different story.
your income from the
And it
from the
depends
rental.
it depends if you're a company versus an
individual.
individual. And that's really something you probably could talk to a whole lot better than me. But we do everything in a company. I don't own anything in my name.
So your investors, or your
Our
people
investors-
who are your people who have a portfolio with you.
They have a company for that portfolio.
They have a company for the portfolio.
We
Okay,
don't
so
sell to
based on what you're
individual
saying, I'm
names.
thinking company taxes are cheaper than individual.
I don't even want to get into that because
then
it's
we
just
won't,
a
'cause,
matter of
yeah.
what and how. And it matters if you're doing an LLC.
Stay in my lane of idiocy and ignorance. Okay.
You want to.
All right, I'll do
There's
that.
too many
Yeah,
variables
LLC.
to talk about,
Okay.
a broad range of stuff. So
I'm just sitting here thinking, I'd like to have a little house near my cousin. It's beautiful where they live, and I don't go visit anymore because it's kind of just
Well, you
us
don't have
now.
it-
And
Oh, I can't say this online.
okay, don't say it online. Greg, call her later. So anyway,
But-
because I know where he lives. It's a beautiful area of
Yeah.
East Tennessee. There's you go out in his back.
Listen,
you
if
could-
that's where you're thinking of retiring, it's
no, we're staying here in our little tiny because we have a nice little house.
okay.
So we're not buying somewhere else to retire. We're going to Airbnb for months at a time in various countries. That's what we decided.
That means you still pay New
I know.
Jersey taxes.
I know.
You move out for 6 months and 5 days, and then you keep this house as your summer house.
Okay. Did you hear that, Ray? Are you listening, Raymond? Just Ray. Ray. Penny. No, sorry.
But
need a third one.
I told
know,
you
it feels off.
I used to run my life around taxes. I don't do that anymore, and I don't recommend, by the way, that anyone does that. And tell you the good, bad, and the ugly of that as well. But real estate is good for taxes for many reasons.
They've always said, when you hear real estate is one of the safest, best investments.
Okay, so nothing is safe, nothing's guaranteed, nothing's promised to you. And if anybody does any of those guarantees, walk away, run away,
Right.
don't even walk,
Right.
because it's not true. If you're in real estate long enough, you're going to lose money. That's just a fact. I've lost $500,000 on a deal. One of my partners has lost millions. You do enough real estate, you're going to lose money. That doesn't mean you're not going to make that plus up.
I would
and
hope, or it
relatively
wouldn't make
quickly.
sense to do it.
Correct. But it is safe as the people you're working with, their knowledge, their experience, and the locations. But anything can change, right? Look at what happened in 2008. People who thought they were doing really well and were at that time lost it all because they just didn't have the basis to keep the properties running, or they lost all their tenants because they couldn't afford it anymore. So, just realize that if you're running it as a business, it's a business. If you buy 5 to 10 properties in a location that's a working class location, and this is my opinion only, right? You're going to buy these properties, you're going to keep them long term. The tenant is going to pay off your mortgage. You're going to make some cash flow on the side, but when you're ready to retire, these are going to be bringing in a lot of money. Yes, could you lose money? Yes, you can. If you did your right research, the odds are you're going to be okay. And it's going to allow you to retire early. The younger you get into real estate, clearly the better it is. I highly, if you're 20 years old getting out of college, I could tell you how to start putting yourself in a position to win with real estate. I mean, I'm all about owning real estate. Warren Buffett said if he had it to do over again, he'd own a whole lot more. So better people than me believe in it.
Believe it. So we're running down to our hour, ending after 10 o'clock.
Take that, Tim.
Yeah, we're doing a whole hour, Tim, regardless of what time we started. He's gonna shoot me. He's not coming back. So I'm not gonna sit with you anymore if you're gonna pick on me when I'm not there.
No,
But
I was with the puns. Hour.
Oh, I didn't get that pun, Kevin. Oops, fail.
You're now
Major
doing
fail.
it without even thinking.
Yeah, right. I guess I do a lot without thinking. If you haven't noticed already. So if somebody wanted to, if they're interested, based on what you've said, they can meet you at an EMAC event. Or
Absolutely.
they can go to emac.org and find your listing on our directory.
Absolutely.
But really, what's the best way for them to reach you?
So really, if you're on here, EMAC probably is the best way. You can go online on Facebook. If you look up Coast to Coast Networking,
And it's Coast,
the number two,
Number two.
Coast Networking. You can sign up there, and I'll reach out to you and talk to you anytime, day or night. Well, not quite all night, but my days.
You were working when I was trying to revamp last night, so at 8:15.
My
8:30.
days usually run 5 to 11. So
5 a.m.
I
to
do-
11 p.m.?
Yeah, so I
Holy
really keep
moly.
myself pretty available to people. I try and keep Sundays to myself and my husband if I'm home. So that happens on occasion.
None of my business, but does your husband travel with you when you travel? Or
So
does he have
he
his,
just-
You've mentioned your son in this business. I didn't know there was a husband because I just assumed you were out living up the life La Vida Loca or something.
I'm living life, but yes, there is a husband.
There's a husband, and
we've
he-
been married for 36 years, so we're not getting a divorce anytime soon.
Isn't that awesome?
And he doesn't travel with me very often. He's not like me. So if he was traveling, I would go because I do a lot of things on my own. I'd go out.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
problem.
Exactly.
But he's more comfortable doing it with people. So if there's some place that he's never been before and really wants to see, or he has friends, he comes with me. But
Does he work in your
general-
business or does he have his own
No.
career?
No, he was
He's a-
just retired.
Oh, congratulations!
So he can do whatever he wants as long as it makes me happy.
That's the secret to a happy marriage, I've heard.
So
What is it? Happy wife, happy life.
that's right. I agree with that. It's the right philosophy. So I was looking for rehabs for him in New Jersey just to keep him busy. And now that he's fully retired, I'm like, okay, so now you can travel with me once a month. I don't care if you do it every time I travel, but once a month.
If he's retired, would he want to come work in the office? We're looking for somebody who wants to have a really good time and be around people. Just throwing that out there.
I will ask him.
It's because I will. We've mentioned it's very flexible. It's very fun. It's
But
not
it's still-
exactly overly
So my-
financial. So
my
that's
res-
why we would.
Well, it's not a financial issue, right? It's a matter of I want him to have the time to be able to come when he wants. And so, I retired from my company in 2012, and the day I retired, I took off my watch. And that for me was my symbol of being free. I control my time. Now, I told you the hours that I'm available, but it's because I want to be. And if there's a day I don't want to be, I'm not. If you try and reach me, I'm not going to call you back. I'm not going to text you. I'm just not going to be available.
That's can I just say that is a really huge secret that people don't take advantage of, because I just did that for a week and I was a lunatic and not a pleasant person to be around. You saw me right before I left. I was not a pleasant person to be around. I came back totally, and it wasn't easy. It was not easy. Put the phone down. Do not look at your email.
So I will tell you, when I go on vacation, I normally take one day. And the rest of the week, I know I'm going to be working from 4 to 5 in the morning until about 8 to 9. I can get on emails. I can respond to people. I can do what I have to do. And then the rest of the day is mine. And that's just, I've worked like that my entire life. I hate being bored. I hate being home. I retired for 6 weeks before I was out looking for something, because that was about my limit until I decided the company I wanted to start, which, by the way, I started an organization company. I was forced to close it this year because I just don't have time. Don't have time to talk about it, or it's just gone. I love it, but this has become...
You're a woman of many, many layers and talents, and amazing. You're just quite fascinating. Quite fascinating. So, unfortunately, we're now at 10:12. It has been our hour. I want to thank you for joining us, Kevin. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited.
Our pleasure. And I'm thinking we may be hearing from you on a Shared Universe podcast studio station, maybe. So
we're hoping.
We're hoping to
Andrea, figure out how we can make it work.
To learn more about Turn Coast to Coast in Andrea Lane. Stay tuned.
It's actually more about rentals and real estate, not just turnkey.
No, but that's you. It's all Andrea. Just take it, Andrea. It's yours. Right. It's yours. It's your Oprah moment. Take it. Okay. And thanks to the people who listened today. And we will be back on September 10th with Kevin Ertl from First Conversation Bank. No, Kevin, sorry. First Constitution Bank. Kevin is actually one of our new board members. He's actually works with us on quite a few committees. He's manages 2 bank branches. He's fascinating and really a lot of fun. So we look forward to meeting and speaking with him. So with that, thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.
Thank you.